Hey guys, welcome into my channel. So the drugstore has dropped a ton of new makeup. I pretty much bought it all. Yeah, I think I pretty much bought all the new makeup releases. There's a ton of stuff in here. I don't know if we're gonna get it all on our face, but I'm definitely gonna try. So let's just hop right into it. So today, if my face is a little bit red, today is my dad's birthday. It is January 20th when I'm filming this, and he recently passed October 5th. So today for me is another one of those firsts. I didn't think that I was going to get up here and film, but this big box arrived today and I just want to play with this new makeup, give myself, I don't know, a little bit of feel-good makeup. So yeah, obviously today was a little bit of a harder day. I didn't take the day off of work or anything, but I do feel like I need to play around. So that is what we're gonna do today. You guys, just a ton of new drugstore releases. It's usually the time of year when drugstore launches all of their new products. Let me just show you everything that I picked up and then we'll start applying it. So I picked up an eyeshadow palette from Essence, and we'll go into like more detail about each of these, but I got this. I also picked up the new liquid bronzer from Physicians Formula. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but I mean, the shade range was atrocious, but it actually looked like, you know, I don't know, might be a little bit of a glowy product, so I wanted to try that. Wet n Wild came out with a couple of new mascaras, if I'm not mistaken, and this was the Breakup Proof Mascara. It's waterproof, extra volume and length. So I love me a Wet n Wild product because they're just so affordable, and most of them I really love, so I got that. I did pick up one of the new Makeup Revolution Ceramide Lip Swirl lip glosses. I know that a lot of people are saying these were the like dupe for Givenchy, but I've seen a couple of other brands like come out with these recently. One of them being like the Juvia's Place Candy Shop glosses, which I picked up all of those. And I do have a dedicated video on all of that. But yeah, I mean, this is just like much more fat packaging. And I think they came out with like 3 different shades, but I just picked up this one. And then Essence decided to drop some of their Pure Nude Baked Blushes. So that was cool. I think they probably had like 3 different shades, but I picked up 2. Kind of now that I'm looking at them, they don't really look that different. But one is in the shade Shimmering Rose, and then the other one is a more peachy shade. So this is Pretty Peach. So I guess, yeah, if I kind of hold them back here, they look a little bit different, but I'm excited to try those. I also have the Flower Beauty launches. The liquid contour wand was totally sold out. Like, I couldn't get my hands on that. But I did get the Skin Smoothie Radiant Primer, which I love a good radiant primer. And when I saw this, I thought it was going to be a dupe for the Skin Smoothie one from First Aid Beauty. So I'll bring that out just so we can kind of look at the consistencies. And then she also launched a Get Real Serum Concealer. I was like a fan of the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. It did end up like kind of going bad on me and just changing formula after about, I don't know, like sooner than some of my other concealers, so I ended up decluttering it, but I wanted to give this one a shot. And what else do I have in here? Oh, Essence also launched some new 8-Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liners, so I picked up one shade, Cool Mauve. And then Makeup Revolution launched this Blush Balm, which is just like a liquid blush with vitamin E. Ooh, doesn't that look like a really nice color? Like matching my shirt. I just love orange. I'm just a huge fan of orange, so if you see a lot of orange stuff, that's why. And then I also got the Baby Got blush from Essence, which was just a stick blush, peaches and cream, of course, something peach. And Essence also, oh no, Makeup Revolution also launched a CC Swirl primer, and I wasn't gonna pick this up because I'm not a big like primer user, but when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is something that I need to try. It's a color correcting primer with vitamin C and hyaluronic acid. And so I've been trying a lot of like color correctors lately, and several of the brands have been coming out with them, but it's like to reduce some of my redness. But when I was looking at the description of this, I was like, that actually sounds like something that I would like, because it doesn't just like target one color. It targets many like discolorations, and so it's supposed to neutralize a lot of different colors. So I thought we would try this on maybe half the face. Oh, and the other Flower Beauty product to launch was the Plump Up Gloss Stick, which I thought was kind of like a dupe for the Maracuja like Juicy Glow from Tarte. So I actually really want to try this. And then LA Girl launched a couple of 4-play like 4-pan eyeshadow palettes, and I picked up one Color Story. So 2 eyeshadow palettes today. Maybe we'll just do like one look, one eye, one look, another eye. And then Ulta launched some new cream products, which I was actually really excited to see. They came out with a potted like cream blush. They also came out with the Cheek Squad, which is a trio with a bronzer, highlighter, and a blush. And I have already used this. You guys, it is so good. Honestly, like this bronzer is actually one of my favorite cream bronzers right now. It's just, I don't know, they did a really good job on the formulation of these. So I picked this up first and then I thought, you know, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna buy the potted cream blush by itself. I don't know why they chose to kind of like release the trio and just like a standalone cream blush, but they did. So this one is one that I haven't tried yet. And that's it in this box. They also had a lot of new like foundation releases, which I've already tried all of them on camera. I don't have a new one today, but I did try on the L'Oreal True Match. So if you're interested in seeing like how any of these foundations perform, or like this trio, I do, just check out my channel and you'll see it. And then the Skin Caring Foundation from Revlon, which is really dewy. And then also the NYX Bare With Me Blur. Like I tried this right when it launched. So I do have a dedicated video with a wear test on this product. J.Cat also launched a new like baked highlighter. My son is in the room, so if you hear like some background noise, and the music we're getting serenaded with, that's why. And then J.Cat actually did launch a new like baked highlighter. And then J.Cat also did launch a new...
I'll keep it open a little bit so I can see you.
J.Cat did also launch a new highlighter, a baked highlighter, and I have tried this on camera, but since I didn't get any other new highlighter products, I thought I would just bring this out so we can use this for drugstore. So that was everything that I hauled. I was like pretty selective in the different kinds of things that I picked, but I'm pretty sure I got like, I don't know, at least one thing from each of the new launches from the brands that put stuff out. So let me just put my hair up and we'll dive in and we'll start playing with this. I'm like really excited for some of these, for sure. Like the primers, the Flower Beauty stuff, like yeah. Okay, I've zoomed you guys in. I already did my eyebrows. I just used the e.l.f. Ultra Precision Brow Pencil and I have mine in the shade Taupe. Okay, let's look at these primers. I want to do one on one side of the face and one on the other. So the Flower Beauty Skin Smoothing Radiant Glow Primer is the first one that I want to try. And I think it was supposed to be like a dupe for the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Primer Moisturizer. Like if I'm not mistaken, I kind of feel like that's what they were going for. Although this is just more hydrating, like it's not a glowy primer by any means. So I want to test this consistency and see how it compares. Yeah, I do actually think that this might be kind of duping this one from First Aid Beauty because this is like in a pink shade. The Skin Smoothie Primer is also like in a pink shade, which is like unusual for like a moisturizing primer. So I actually do kind of think that they're trying to dupe this. The Flower Beauty one is so much thinner. This is the Flower Beauty one. It's just a much thinner formula. The one from First Aid Beauty is much thicker in consistency. I don't know, you'll probably not be able to see that on the swatch, but for sure, it's just so much thinner. Like this one has much more texture to it. Maybe that helps a little bit to see it. Let's use this on like the left side of my face. I'm gonna put that much on. And I'm just gonna rub it in. I know primers sometimes aren't exciting, but I don't know, like a good primer can like make or break a foundation. And I like something that's radiant under my foundations because that's just my preference. I don't like anything mattifying because I do have really dry skin. So can you guys like see it? It has a scent to it, but it smells like sweet. It smells good. And it does have that glow, you can see. I like it. I don't know, I like it. It felt good going on. The scent is like very mild and like nice and, I don't know, calming almost. So let's move on into the one from Revolution. I'm really excited to see. This is usually like the redder side of my face, on my nose anyway. I don't know that it is today, but anyway, I want to see how well it neutralizes. So it's called the CC Swirl Primer, Color Correcting Primer. Again, vitamin C and hyaluronic acid. It almost looks like toothpaste a little bit. You can definitely like see the swirl in the pump and it's just, yeah, it looks like a little thing of toothpaste. Let's rub this in. It's thicker than the Flower Beauty one for sure, but almost like in between the other one from First Aid Beauty. I want to see if it kind of like neutralizes, I don't know, anything on kind of the back of my hand or blurs it in any way. This one also has a scent, but it smells like a moisturizer actually. So that's it rubbed in as opposed to like this hand. I did wipe off the other ones, so only that primer is there. I think it actually has a hint of radiance to it. I'm just gonna take that much and apply it to this side. I wanna get it on my nose for sure to see if it neutralizes the color. Not really. I'm gonna use a little bit more. I mean, it feels very hydrating. I just don't think it neutralized any of the redness on my nose. What do you guys think? I mean, it looks the same. Maybe just a slight bit lighter in the redness than this side. Tiny bit, not a huge difference. While that sinks in, I am gonna talk about the foundation a little bit. So I think we're gonna use, I'm just gonna grab one. I don't know why this one, but it just is calling to me to try again. This is the L'Oreal True Match Super-Blendable Foundation in the shade N1 Neutral Light. I think I liked this one probably the best over like the Revlon Illuminance one. It was just really illuminating. And then the NYX Bear With Me Blur is a little bit too matte for me. I've only tried all 3 of these each one time. I try them at least 5 times before I don't know, like decide that they're really something that I'm gonna love and wanna keep wearing on an everyday basis, or whether I just bought it for the sake of YouTube. I think it's a decent foundation for L'Oreal. I don't know what the super blendable means is. I don't think it's more blendable than any other foundation that I've tried that's liquid, but I don't know. I don't, they trademarked it. All right, let's go into the concealer. So this is a serum concealer, and I'm imagining that it is light coverage, just like the Get Real like serum foundation. This is in the shade Vanilla. It says it's buildable coverage, hydrating, brightening, and smoothing. I'm assuming this is just like your doe foot applicator. Oh yeah, for sure. But it has a nice little curve to it. It definitely feels like it would be like a lighter weight formula, but this looks like medium coverage to me. It doesn't look like it's a super light coverage. I think I'm gonna do the left eye first. So let's bounce this in. Not light coverage at all. This is a really nice medium coverage. You could build this up to full coverage. I figured with it being the Get Real Serum Concealer that it was gonna be lighter coverage than this. It's totally not. Buildable coverage, hydrating, brightening, and smoothing. I think it was a really nice finish, and I think it was really good coverage. I'm just gonna do right here, I'm gonna like spot conceal. I mean, you did a good job spot concealing. I'm gonna go into the right eye. I've been trying to like target the inner part of my eye because I always miss it, and I do get like pretty dark in that inner corner, and I'm trying to like really be conscientious about really concealing it. And I'm always like dragging it onto my eyelids just as kind of an eyeshadow primer. So yeah, you guys, it's pretty high coverage. So I do like this. I found that with her other concealer too. It was also pretty high coverage, the Light Illusion one. Yeah, I just figured with the like serum aspect of this, and like that it goes with the like Get Real, I think, foundation, that is just like a whisper of coverage. So I thought this would be something similar, but most of her concealers seem to be like pretty decent coverage. I didn't get a new powder, so I'm just gonna go into a drugstore one. This is the Essence 16 Hour Cover and Last. It's actually a foundation, but I love it for like under my eyes, just to set everything down, and I'm just gonna use my sponge to do it. And that's it. So naturally we need to go into the liquid bronzer from Physicians Formula. This is the Butter Glow Liquid Bronzer. It says Radiance Boosting Glow. An incredible liquid bronzer that adds instant warmth to your everyday look, leaving your skin illuminated and hydrated for a natural looking sun-kissed glow. Incredibly creamy, I would imagine, and a weightless formula that blends effortlessly, delivering warm, glowy skin unlike any other. Okay. This versatile formula can be worn alone, under makeup, or over foundation to naturally enhance skin's texture, tone, and appearance. So this one is in the shade Bronze. Like I said, the shade ranges for these were pretty atrocious, and I considered not picking it up, but I thought I wanted to try something from Physicians Formula. It's just been like a hot minute since I've tried anything from them. It's like it's a plastic bottom, but it's quite sturdy. It's quite hard. So there's the packaging. It's a lot of product. It's 1.3 fluid ounces, which is larger than your standard foundation, and it's just a twist off cap, which appears to have a big hole in this like squeezy tube. Like a lot of product is gonna come out of this. Yeah, it's a very liquidy formula. So you almost have to be careful that you don't just like tip it over, because it'll just start like leaking out. It looks like it has a hint of warmth to it. Let's blend it in on the back of my hand. It's not a bad swatch, honestly. Like it's a pretty like semi-warm tone, but it was very easy to blend, and I didn't get any patchiness issues. So I know how I'm gonna apply this. I'm gonna put this on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna kind of like rub it in, and then I'm gonna bounce my sponge into the product on the back of my hand. So I'm just gonna take a clean, like the circle part of the sponge, and kind of tap the excess off, and I'm going straight in. Okay. I mean, it has a hint of warmth and it's definitely like a lighter consistency. I don't know that it's exactly like pulling the foundation up, but I can feel it's just a really emollient wet formula. Going back into the back of my hand and just picking up the rest, and I'm gonna go into the right side. I don't think like a little bit of product goes a long way. I actually do think you need a little bit more than you think you do to get this on. I think that it's like a nice color. I did end up using quite a bit of product on the back of my hand. And quite honestly, it's almost like a tanning solution because it was a little bit difficult to kind of wipe off. I don't know, is it still there? Did it like tint my skin? I don't know, it kind of seems like it did. I almost feel like this would be like a good body glow because it gives like a hint of radiance and it's a pretty nice shade. Like I could just see this being like a nice body bronzer if that's something that you were into. It doesn't have like the butter bronzer like scent though. The scent is very different. It has a slight scent, but it doesn't like smell like there's any kind of added fragrance to it, if that makes sense. I want to try all these blushes. I just know that I'm not going to be able to, so I'm going to exclude the Ulta blush cream. I mean, I just don't know how else to like get it all on my face because I definitely want to go into the two like liquid and cream blushes that I have. The liquid blush from Revolution and then Baby Got Blush Stick from Essence. I really think that I want to. And then I think I'll probably like top it with probably just the peachy shade, but we'll swatch both of these because I want to see like the finish. Let's go into the liquid blush from Revolution in the shade Peach Filter. Doe foot applicator, little stubby guy. I'm gonna swatch this. This definitely looks like a more sheer, like dewy formula. It was very, very lightweight. I just like this color, but it's really kind of neon. I'm just gonna do the whole cheek. I'm gonna dot it on 3 times. You see how neon that is? It matches my shirt really well. I'm gonna take the same sponge that I use for the bronzer and just use the other side. We'll see where three dots gets us. I don't see it moving any of the foundation. Do you guys? I don't see it like patching. I would leave it like this because we're still gonna top it. It has a little bit of tack to it, but it's not sticky. It's not gross. Like this will dry down. It just looks really pretty actually. I do think that this blush balm is actually pretty nice. So let's go into the one from Essence. It's called Baby Got Blush. Like I said, it was in the shade Peach Please. Oh, this one looks like a much harder formula and it has a super peachy smell right when you open that cap. It's like a little candy. Oh man, that is like reminiscent of some childhood candy or summer. It smells so sweet. It's much more emollient when you start like rubbing it and it gets warm on the back of your hand. There's the swatch, very similar color. Obviously I was going for a lot of oranges. I just love orange. Like it's pretty pigmented as well. I'm gonna take on the other side of the sponge. I laid it pretty heavy. Let's do, oh yeah. I like this one. This one's really pigmented. This one is a little bit tackier. Fear this one moving the foundation underneath because I already feel like right in the center, it's starting to kind of pull it up a little bit. Just kind of lightly tap it in. Don't do it too hard or it's probably gonna be something that kind of like disturbs the foundation or moves the product around. It's something I probably wanna set down because it's quite tacky. This one's already like dried down for even like its glowy finish. It doesn't have a stickiness to it. Whereas this one is like, I feel like I'm picking the product up with my finger. It's just a very, very different consistency. This one, I would set down. Like, I don't think you can get away with not setting it down. It's a good thing we're gonna go into these powder blushes. So I don't care, I'm just gonna use both, like one on each side, and just layer these on top of the cream products and see what kind of like finish we get. I kind of anticipated these being a little bit sheer because the Pure Nude highlighter is very sheer. Oh, they have like a slight radiance to them. I hope this translates. You see the pink one? It's like much more reflective than the orange one, but they do have just like a slight hint of radiance on them.
Mom, who are you talking to?
The camera.
Why? Is people watching you talk?
Yeah, like when I post the video.
Say Spider-Man, Mom.
Spider-Man.
What does filming mean?
Let's go into the Peach Please one. Oh, wow, look what it did. It's really, really powdery. Can you guys see that inside the pan? With a like pretty standard fluffy brush. I'm just going to layer it on top of here. This is gonna be like a super just affordable, nice and pigmented, kind of long lasting blush. That's just what I think about it. So I had to turn the fan on if you guys do hear it. It's not like making any noise, but sometimes the camera, like the mic does pick it up. Let's go into the Shimmery Rose one. Yeah, okay, so now I see why this one had a little bit more like shimmer in it than the orange one did on the swatch. But the orange one does have like a good sheen to it. Yeah, this one has a really nice sheen to it as well. I just love these. These are so good. How could you go wrong? They're cheap. I'm gonna throw on the J.Cat You Glow Girl highlighter in the shade Seaside Frost. It's again another baked formula, and I love when the drugstore busts out with their baked products. Just good quality stuff usually. Really, really bright, blinding highlighter, but it lasts a really, really good amount of time. Let's go into the eyeshadows next. So a little bit about eyeshadows in terms of these two brands. I have tried one Essence eyeshadow palette in the past. That is all I've ever tried. And it's a recent launch. It was the Pumpkins Pretty Please launch from like November timeframe, October, November timeframe. And it was like one of my favorite like drugstore palettes that I tried of all of last year. So I'm hoping that this is the same like quality. This is called the Blooming Wings eyeshadow palette. A lot of neutral colors, but also some pinkies. So it's a pretty light, like safe color story, I would say. Let's go into this LA Girl Foreplay palette. This is in the color story Feel Good. I think they had a couple of different quads that they launched, but this is just like the color story that like appeals to me. So I want to swatch the two like shimmer shades and see how the formula feels, because that's always like what I'm most interested in. Yeah, see, this first one just kind of feels like a topper. See, it doesn't have a huge base to it. It has a nice shimmer, like don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have a lot of pigmentation. And that has a lot of pigmentation, but a lot less shimmer to it. There's only real 3 like mauve shades, so I feel like this one might pull mauve on me, which looks more like gray in the pan. And I think I'm gonna try that as like a transition shade on the right eye. And then what I think I'll do is I'll go into this one like to the crease, this one in the outer corner, and then I actually think I will take this shimmer right here on the lid. That is what I'm gonna do, you guys. I'm just gonna speed through the application of this. Okay, that's it. So my first impressions of this is that it's not an overly pigmented palette. A lot of these shades are very neutral and light and buildable. They don't offer a lot of pigmentation on like first application or anything. The shimmer that I used didn't immediately blow me away. It's not very reflective. I think I was trying to build it up to get it to be a little bit more reflective, and then it was kind of like just looking a little chunky on my eye. It's not my favorite shimmer formula, so I think it was nice. It's just buildable. It's really, really light color story. That's what you're gonna get out of this. So I mean, I didn't do anything like revolutionary with the look. I don't know if you really can with this palette. So anyway, pretty good. Okay, so let's go into the LA Girl eyeshadow palette. I'm probably gonna get a pretty similar look because the color stories are pretty similar, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, like I'm gonna start it in the outer corner and like diffuse it inward a little bit. I am going to deepen up the outer corner with like this shimmer right here. I might drag this all over the lid and then just top it with this shade. So I'll do the same thing where I'll just kind of speed through this part. Okay, so that's it. This one, the shade here, pulled so much more like red than I thought it was going to. It looked a lot more like purple in the pan, but yeah, it's a pretty like red shade, which is kind of interesting because this is such a like mauve-y color that, I mean, it's nice. I didn't go heavy. This is a really super light shade, but I went very light on it and then used mostly this shimmer to like, you know, the outer corner, just build up the real depth. And I didn't end up taking it because it pulled so red on the lid, but I did end up taking this shade, and I think it's super sparkly, and I think it reflects light enough that like you can build it up and it can hold its own. It's just very muted, it's very light, it's not like, you know, super chunky or anything like that. So these are just like everyday shadows. I don't think that this is like a bad quad per se. I mean, you're gonna get one look out of it basically. I don't think you can get more than one look, honestly. I think both of them are very, very buildable formulas. So if you like that sort of thing, I think these are pretty good. Let's move on into our mascara here, which is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Mascara, and it's waterproof with castor oil, smudge proof, extra volume and length, up to 24 hours ultra black. I'm excited to try this. I like a lot of Wet n Wild stuff, but it's probably been a decade since I've tried a Wet n Wild mascara. Okay, so here it's just like a sleek black with like a broken heart at the top. It kind of looks a little cheapy, just like a little bit cheap. It's a medium-sized wand, like natural bristles, not the plastic kind. This is not my favorite kind of wand, I'm just gonna say that. Start applying it, we'll do the right eye first. Okay, it's already starting to like get a little bit messy in the tube as I'm like dipping back into it. Like it's making a considerable mess. So it's quite a chunky, messy formula. Like, I don't know, can you guys see how messy that is? That's 2 coats there. I can already get a sense about this. I think it does give you good volume. I don't think that it's like extra lengthening, if that makes sense. Like there's more volume than there is length with this. This was 2 coats and I can tell that it's a wetter formula. It stays wet long enough that you can build this product up. And the minute that I went in with the second coat, it got so much darker that I was like, wow, this is a really buildable formula for sure. I didn't make a mess when I was putting it on. It's not that kind of wand that, you know, it gets everywhere. The tube itself was just making a huge mess. Like it's so hard to show, but well, that you can kind of see. What I will do is I will always update you guys on wear time in the description box and whether or not this transfers and like how hard it was to get off at the end of the night, that sort of thing. I mean, it kind of feels like, you know, maybe a 1990s mascara a little bit, like just how much product is like coming off on this wand and how much you want to kind of like clean it up before you go in. So again, I'll update you guys in the description box. Let's move on into the lip products. This is going to be like a very plummy shade. Even though it says cool mauve, I feel like this is going to pull plum on me. It is a retractable liner. You actually do get a sharpener in here, which is like nice for an essence liner, right? Yeah, I think it's more berry than it is like a cool mauve. I definitely think it's cool, like there's no warmth to it. I just think it's pulling a little bit more plum. It's called the Comfort Lip Liner and it says that it is waterproof. For being a matte formula, oh, it just transferred. It's really creamy. I want to test the like budginess of this. So let's kind of see. Holy cow, you guys, that stays really well. Like it took off some of it, but I was really tugging at it. So it's a really long lasting formula. All right, it has my stamp of approval. It's really creamy, so much so that it doesn't line up with how hard it was to just remove it from my hand. Like it doesn't seem that it would be that difficult, as creamy as this formula actually is. The Flower Beauty Plump Up Gloss Stick, and I have mine in the shade Spicy. It's very reminiscent of the Maracuja Juicy Glow, where you're like pumping it up. Very glossy formula, not a huge amount of pigmentation, just like very glossy. So I actually think we can get away with like doing this on one side and then doing the gloss on the other. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's so nice and comfy. And look at it with that lip liner. Doesn't it look pretty? Why does everything today smell so delicious? I thought that was really pretty. I think the lip liner underneath is not being disturbed by the lip product, which it's a really pigmented like matte formula. I'm blown away by the lip liner, if you guys can't tell. I want to go into the Ceramide lip gloss from Makeup Revolution, Lip Swirl lip gloss. It's in berry pink. This one's like a really hot pink. I think this is going to be a much stickier formula because it's just like this really thick consistency inside of the container. Like, look at this. Can you like see this? Okay. This is like a mess. What's going on here? I'm swirling it up. Like something's off on this. Ew. Oh, really? Oh, it's already doing that nasty thing. Ew, you guys, ew. I don't know about this lip swirl from Makeup Revolution, you guys. I think maybe look at it. Oh, it's still doing it. All right, it's not me. I promise it's the lip gloss, you guys. Look at that. Oh no. Nope, you guys, I do not want the funny mouth thing. I'm not down with that. Like this is, ugh, this is like sticky grossness. Like, ew, I don't like this. I don't know if this got good reviews or what, because I've seen like some people say this is like really okay. I honestly can't tell you when the last time I tried something on that I was like, ew, about it was. Like that doesn't happen that often. And darn, that was like the last product I used too. It's time to do our wrap up now. So let's talk about everything and I will give you my final thoughts. I can already tell you guys that both of these primers sat under this foundation so nicely. There's no breaking apart. There's no weird funny pilling on my nose or like the textured areas, which is usually where it happens when the primer doesn't mesh with the foundation. So both of these did a really, really good job. I actually thought this was tremendous. Like I prefer this maybe even better than the First Aid Beauty one. I think that I just like maybe a lighter consistency, but the finish was very similar. This one is just much more, I guess maybe hydrating, but I think this was hydrating plenty. So I think this was beautiful and maybe just slightly more radiant than the First Aid Beauty one. So I'm a fan of this one. I actually liked the Makeup Revolution CC cream. I don't think it neutralized like all the color that I was hoping that it would neutralize, but I actually think it did better than maybe some of the other like color correctors that I've been using lately. And not necessarily that it did a better job, but that it's performed better overall. I think this one is actually quite hydrating, plays nicely with this one foundation, and neutralized it just a teeny bit. The foundation, now that I've worn it for like the second time, I think this is probably my favorite like drugstore launched foundation recently. I think it's like a satin finish with just medium coverage, but it plays well with other products. I guess maybe that's where the Super-Blendable comes in from. I don't know, honestly. I didn't think I was gonna like this as much as I did. I think it takes quite a bit for it to go a long way. I think you do end up using quite a bit of product on the back of your hand to get the application across the forehead and the cheeks. I don't think that a little bit goes a long way. I did like the finish though. I think I wanted to hate this because I was so mad at the shade range, but I just don't hate it. I actually think it was really nice, and I'm not a huge fan of like liquid bronzers. I much prefer cream bronzers or a powder bronzer. It just gave a really, really nice glow like it says it will. So I don't know, I'm a fan, I don't hate it. I did skip over the Flower Beauty concealer. I already can tell you that it's not creasing under my under eyes. I think it's more full coverage than the Light Illusion one, and the consistency was just so nice. Like it was so blendable. This is a damn good concealer from Flower Beauty. Let's talk about these blushes. I thought this was a damn good blush from Makeup Revolution, this blush balm. I liked that it wasn't sticky, but it was dewy. It was not the one that I was expecting to like as much as I did. This one is just an overly sticky formula, and it started to look a little patchy. I can't say that this is my favorite thing that Essence has put out. I think you're gonna work a little bit harder with that product. But these Pure Nude Bake blushes from Essence, I think they kind of redeemed themselves in the powder department for me, in that these like shimmery bake goodness, these were delightful. I quite enjoyed them. You know Essence is like a really decent price point. The eyeshadow palettes, I'm a bigger fan of like the Essence formula, honestly, than I am the LA Girl. I mean, the LA Girl is just okay. I'm just never blown away by their formulations. I think they're just like decent and like super beginner friendly, but I don't think that they go above and beyond in my collection. I kind of prefer the shimmer formula. I kind of prefer the buildableness and the blendableness of the Essence shadows. This mascara was like kind of a throwback to like, I don't know, 1995. I don't think it's a bad mascara by any means. I like that it's waterproof. I like that it's like non-smudging and transfer resistant. I think it's pretty. I just don't know that I think it's like revolutionary. Let's talk about this lip liner. If you don't run out and get 5 like right now because you watched this video, then shame on you, because these are super cheap. And like, okay, 5 if you needed 5, but I don't know like what the shade range is, but can you guys see the lip liner holding its color underneath the products after this long? Like, I don't have very many that actually do that, And so like this matte waterproof comfort, oh damn, they nailed it. The Flower Beauty, this was really nice. Like I'd almost say that this was more comfortable, more of a lighter weight formula than the Maracuja Juicy Glow from Tarte. And I think these are better, just slightly nicer, like more cooling, more gentle, plump. Yeah, stay the heck away from this. Like maybe I got a bad one, but this is like the chunkiest, nastiest, like stickiest, weird, gloopy like formula that I've ever seen in a gloss before. Can you guys see that? Ugh, like that translated to my lips and then they were like immediately sticking together. This is gross, so gross. And finally the J.Cat highlighter that I threw in is kind of like a bonus today. I like it. I've been like using it nonstop like every day since I got it. There were some really good finds from today. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are. I hope you guys are having a fantastic new year so far. I'm glad I got to sit and play with the makeup with you. I hope you consider subscribing to my channel and stick around and playing around and testing new makeup. So I will catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.